up, everybody? It's your boy Coach T with Chicago Bears 360 back with another live video for you on this Wednesday. I know it's out of cycle for me to do a review on a Wednesday, but I thought I'd jump on here real fast and do a review for y'all real fast. Coming out of last week's win versus the San Francisco 49ers, I thought it was probably a good time to jump on here. Let me straighten up my camera. Jump on here and do a review for you last week. I'll edit that out. Don't worry about it. This is a live show. We don't sweat the details, man. We just get into this work. But welcome to the show, man. Thank you for joining. If you're joining, come in the comments. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Also, follow me on Twitter, Bears360_Coach T. Follow us for the X's and O's breakdowns. That, you know what I'm saying? You want somebody to break down the nuances of football. You want to learn about football. You want to learn about the whys, right? You want to have some understanding behind your takes, right? You want to, move away from the conjecture and all the philosophical debate. This is the channel for you, man. If you just want to be a philosophy guy and just come off takes off the whim, bro, we're not for you. And that's cool too. There's plenty of Bears channels out there for you. But listen, back to the purpose of this video. Listen, we're going to review that 49ers takes, my 49ers takes leading into the game, the reviews from the game. I'll give you the O-line scores that I posted on Twitter from the game. And then I'll talk about what we can do going into next week versus Green Bay to be successful. What I think we need to change, even coming out of the monsoon game, right? Even coming out of the monsoon game, some things that we need to change possibly going into that game to improve going into that game. So snap in, hold on. Y'all know what's next. Tap in, run those likes up while we cue the intro. Maestro, let's go. Contra.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I fill my teeth with diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future. We bear down.
Just like that, we're back again. It's your boy Coach T with Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T and Swifty. I believe I sent the link to you, Swifty, if you want to tap in, bro, if you got time. If not, I totally understand. I know this is off cycle for me. But listen, if you come in the comments, do me a favor real fast. Run them likes up, man. Let's get this algorithm buzzing on a Wednesday. Also, if you're following on the playback, if you're watching this on the playback, subscribe to the channel, man. Hit the notification bell so you can tap in and understand, know when we're going live or when we're going to be live on the channel. But again, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. So why? Why is it important for you to subscribe to the channel? So you can become part of Field Soldiers. Field Soldiers, that's right. I know the apostrophe is in the wrong place. Every time y'all say that the apostrophe is in the wrong place, Coach D, you're adding to the comment. You're running the algorithm up. So Coach T's playing a little chess right there. I'm leaving the apostrophe in the wrong place because one, I ain't got time right now, bro. Anyway, we're going to jump into this video, man. We're going to jump into our takes. Let me scroll real fast onto my Twitter because I want to give you guys them O-line grades from this week. I want to go over that. I want to talk about the game from this week. Now, my O-line games got a whole lot of likes, whole lot of retweets and all that other stuff. And I know why. I'm not crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of likes and retweets from the O-line grades because they were favorable. You know what I'm saying? Of course, coming out of the win, they were favorable. But I want to let y'all know, man, Coach T don't be slouching on the film work, right? I don't slouch on the film work. I watch each play at least five or six times so I can get a understanding of one, what the play was, two, what we were trying to do, and then how our offensive linemen actually performed in the play. Y'all know how I grade film, or at least I've communicated in other videos how I grade film. I grade film the way I graded it when I coached the position. Feet, hip, hands, depending on what we're doing, whether we're doing run concepts or pass concepts, it's all the same. You teach offensive line play from the ground up, feet, hip, hands, right? All that things need to function together to have a fundamentals of O-line play squared away. And then it's how you run your feet, how you finish blocks, and if you're on your assignment. So, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, man. That's how we grade film. So real fast, let me read Swift's comments referring to I can join in a minute, maybe. Because that's it. Oh, that's what's up, man. We'll get into that in a minute. So what happened is, so real fast, let's jump into these O-line grades, and then we'll talk about the whys and why some of this may not jump out on film to you guys. Again, man, I don't mind disagreeing on Twitter and all this other stuff, but if you're going to disagree, I always say, man, listen, disagreeing and you actually coming with some work, with you actually having done some work, film work, or you actually having a take, being able to break down the nuances and tell me why you disagree is different from you just disagreeing and saying, you know what I'm saying, you guys don't know what you're looking at. You don't, you know what I'm saying, you don't know ball, you don't know film, when you've done absolutely no work. I actually will respect the guys that I disagree with that do work. Then we can talk football. Then we can come to some understanding about perhaps maybe why I may not be seeing the right things or seeing what you're seeing. I understand the perspective from which you come from. But if you're just talking out the side of your neck, man, I'm never going to respect that. Why? Because we at DIY, Bears DIY, you know what I'm saying? You take out a time in your busy schedule to break this film down and stuff like that, man. And it's work. It's a lot of work. It's not easy, for at least for those that do it right. So anyway, it's like that. Anyway, so let's get into these O-line grades, man. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, major on the negativity. Y'all know who I am. My followers know who I am. We know what we do on the channel. So anyway, O-line grades. Braxton Jones, I gave a B-. Cody Whitehair, I gave a B. Sam Mustipher, I gave a B. Tevin Jenkins and Lucas Patrick, I gave an A. And Larry Borom, I gave an A. Now, y'all know that anybody that knows me knows the takes from last season. They know how hard I was on Larry Borom last season. I just did the breakdown. And honestly, you know what I'm saying, just like any coach would do, you know what I'm saying, the footwork, the hip work, the hands weren't there. Larry goes into the offseason, he loses weight the way the coaches asked him to do. He comes back leaner. He works on his technique in the offseason. He works on his technique throughout training camp. He fights for a position. He wins out at the job. And throughout preseason, you saw him progressively getting better. And I will say, in this game on film, he dominated practically every rep. Him, Tevin Jenkins, Lucas Patrick, and watch this, drum roll. Watch this, drum roll. Sam Mustipher. Sam Mustipher got a B on Sunday's film versus the 49ers. And then I have Cody Whitehair with a B and Braxton Jones with a B-. Now, Braxton Jones, we can actually move that up to a B or A- because he's a rookie fifth rounder going to his first game, going against a perennial Pro Bowler in Nick Bosa, right? So if you grade him on a curve, right, and the one rep I feel like that he lost, the sack that he gave up that I felt like that was actually his fault, right? He gave up a big sack, but it wasn't a strip sack. It didn't turn into a turnover or anything like that, but it was a sack that he gave up, being a rookie fifth rounder versus a perennial Pro Bowler, right? Come on, like we got to give some context. We got to give some perspective when we talk about that, right? So I got a lot of pushback on my grades. Yes, I got a little pushback on my grades because I gave him a B-. Yes, I gave him a B-. If you actually go back and watch the film, only one of those sacks, in my opinion, was on him. The one sack that way, they all met at the quarterback. If you actually watch the ticker and you watch the clock on that play, Justin had almost 4 seconds to get rid of the ball. 1, 2, he had 2 checkdowns on the play, and the one check down, the tight end that he actually went to throw the ball to, didn't get his head around. And if you watch the play, Justin actually went to him after the play, and he whispered something in his ear. It was probably telling him to get his head around, so he was looking to check the ball down. So I don't put that on the offensive line on either end, because somebody came in my comments and said, well, you're going to totally ignore the Larry Borom sack Larry Borum and Braxton Jones sacks where they collapse on the quarterback. That shows me you don't watch film, bro. That shows me even if you watch film, you don't know what you're watching. Because guess what? A lot goes into pass protection. So I'll ask you this, the experts out there, was it 50 protection? Was it 60 protection? Was it 70 protection? Was the running back staying in the chip? Was the tight end staying in the chip? What protection was it? Did the tight end, what was the tight end and running back responsibility on that play? And actually, what did they do on that play? So when I say I'm watching film, I watch beyond just the 5 men up front. I understand what the protection is, 50, 70, or 50, 60, or 70, 5, 6, or 7 man protection, what their actual responsibility is in that protection, whether they stand in and actually helping, or if it's a chip or a delay, and then so on and so forth. So if you actually watch the play, both the running back and the tight end had a chip delay release. The tight end just didn't get his head around, and that's not. And additionally, it was 4 seconds from the snap, almost 4 seconds from the snap to the time that the sack happened. So I didn't put that on the offensive line. So like I said, we don't grade film the same, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my grades. Now, somebody else asked a great question, right? So that's for the kind of negative responses to my grades on Twitter. But somebody actually asked a great question on Twitter. Let me see if I can find his name because I want to give him his props in asking great questions. Here's an example of why and how I don't mind responding to actual football questions when it comes to actually football questions. If we're actually attempting to learn something when you're asking questions and being respectful, right? When you actually doing this thing. Peter Ross, my boy Peter Ross here. He says, not to argue, but how do you reconcile with the team's rushing numbers? Okay, so I gave out a B minus, a B, B, A, and 2 A's. So I gave out basically 3 B's and 2 A's on the grades for the O-line on Sunday. So Peter asked a great question. He said, one, not to argue. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you not being respectful. But how do you reconcile that with the team's rushing numbers? Watch this. I'm gonna surprise you with my response to Peter. I'm gonna surprise you with my response. I didn't blame the response or the rushing numbers on the rain, and we're gonna get into that. I didn't blame and reconcile the lack of rushing numbers on the rain. I'm gonna get into that next and respond to Peter's question live on the show because I think it's an important question to ask, and it's a great question. How do you reconcile the rushing name? So I'm asking that real fast on Coach T's playbook. So let's get into it. Yes. I'm being silly on here. Do me a favor, run that like up, subscribe, hit the notification bell while I get into it. Let's jump into Coach T's playbook, and I'm going to reconcile why. I'm not going to give out a drunk uncle award, not that. I'm going to reconcile why and how. Let me get this thing to work here. I'm going to reconcile to you why. Dang it. New play. Oh, there we go. I'm going to try to answer your question in football, X's and O's, and help you understand why I don't put it on the offensive line, why the rushing numbers might have been off on Sunday, right? So let's go to a standard formation. We're going to go to a loose spread gun, We're going to go ace right gun, 11 personnel, ace right gun. So we're going to have a guy in the slot. We're going to have a guy on the line of scrimmage. We're going to have a tight end opposite of the Twins. We're going to have him on the line of scrimmage. And let's go to a basic formation that you guys saw on Sunday versus the 49ers, right? So y'all saw Justin in the gun. Y'all saw a lot of Y'all saw a lot of David Montgomery or Khalil Herbert in the gun, split off to the side right here. Formation similar to this one right here, right? Or you saw trips, right? You saw trips. Are y'all following with me? Y'all follow with me. Do me a favor. Run a like, subscribe, hit the notification up. This is going to be very important for you to understand. So when you argue with your knucklehead friends, you'll have an understanding of why this thing happens and why I'm going to have the tape going into next week. So let's get into it. All right, cool. So we saw this formation right here a lot. I'm going to line up the defense so it doesn't look crazy right here. So you have a corner out here. You have a corner out here, right? This guy's going to be a nickel. It's going to show up as a backer, but let's go ahead and change his nomenclature right here. Nick. All right, done. All right, you got your nickel out there. And what y'all probably didn't notice because we watched the game a little bit different is we saw a lot of this stuff right here on Sunday, right? San Francisco saw, or they knew, you know what I'm saying? It was raining. It was going to be messy. They knew we wanted to run the ball. So they want to play a lot of 8-man boxes, right? They're going to probably play a lot of cover 3, single high safety, 8-man boxes. Y'all saw number 29 in the box pretty much the whole game. I don't remember what his name was, but 29 was in the box pretty much the entire game, right? But why? Why? How do I reconcile our rushing numbers versus my grades? Coach T, you gave out A's and B's, but we didn't have a whole lot of rushing numbers. How does that work? I'm going to tell you why in a second, and it's going to be my pointer leading into next week. All right, so we got everything set up right here. I'm going to tell you why. Pay attention to this right here. This is why I feel like is the problem. This is the challenge, and this is what I think we need to do better going into next week. Yes, it rained on Sunday. I'm not taking that. I'm not dismissing any of that. Yes, it rained on Sunday. That was part of it. That was part of the reason why. But if you go back to the playbook, here's the why. Pay attention particularly to this right here. This area right here. The distance, when you go shotgun, right? The distance, especially when you're going zone. So say we're blocking zone, right? Say we're blocking zone. Let's move our tight end over here. We're going to go zone to the strength of our formation. We're going to actually move this guy over here, bring this guy on the line of scrimmage. Say we're going zone. So y'all saw this play a lot on Sunday. Y'all saw us blocking zone. We're going zone right here. And I want y'all to look for this on next Sunday. We're going zone. Everybody's blocking down zone. Everybody's blocking to their right. But what y'all don't understand, the nuances of the game is the mesh point from the line of scrimmage, right, is about 3 to 5 yards. The distance from the center to the quarterback is about 3 to 5 yards. By the time the running back gets the ball and the quarterback sticks it in the running back's belly, he's at about 3 yards, right? He's at about 3 yards. I want y'all to pay attention and start paying attention to the details. He's at about 3 yards at this point. By the time this running back gets right here, he's at about 3 yards to the line of scrimmage, right? Your offensive line is just getting on their blocks good, right? So let me come back to my face here. Matter of fact, let me do this. Just for the sake of, all right. So that's a better view right here. So y'all can see my face as I talk. The running back is at about 3 yards, right? So the offensive linemen were getting on their blocks. The guys were getting on their blocks. However, the distance from the center to the quarterback is about 3 to 5 yards. Or by the time the running back reaches his mesh point, he's at 3 yards. The offensive lineman's blocks haven't had chance to develop, right? So you're making contact, but it takes another 2 to 3 yards of you running your feet before those holes actually develop. Are y'all following me? Right? Are y'all following me? So we got you in the say we got you. We're following you, coach, in the comments. All right? The mesh point is happening so quick that the offensive linemen's blocks don't have time to develop, right? It takes time for these guys. Some of these guys have to double team and climb to the next level. So some of these guys are doubling, say they might be doubling a tackle and climbing to the next level. So you may have two guards, you may have a guard tackle combo and then climb to the backer, right? It takes time for that to develop. So if you're going to do this out of gun, your mesh point is so close to the line of scrimmage that your blocks don't have time to develop, right? Your blocks don't have a time to develop. Are y'all following me? Okay, hopefully you are. Not to insult anybody's intelligence, but I just want to make sure y'all know I love teaching ball, right? Y'all know I love teaching ball. So watch this. They have time. The blocks need time to develop. An offensive lineman can make his block, but if they don't have that time to develop the hole, get on the blocks and actually move bodies, right? It doesn't matter. You're going to have a running back running into the wrong hole. And I got a video right here I want to point out as an example. Hopefully I can bring it up right. I can hit the right one right now. I think it's going to be this one. See the example, right? See the example. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. If you actually go back and watch the play again, and I'm going to show the play again. If you go back and watch the play again, you'll see David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert were getting the ball, and they're getting the ball. They're actually getting the ball about 2 or 3 yards behind the offensive line. The offensive line hasn't had an opportunity to get on their blocks and and climb to the next level, right? And get to the second level, right? So that's what I was pointing out here. We'll go back to my mock-up here. And that's what I was trying to point out here. So you need that time, you need that space between getting the ball and these guys that actually get on their blocks and start actually moving bodies. So what I looked at in the film was what I imagined in my adjustment would be, without actually looking at this and finding the play that happened, is I would want plays. What is your coach? What is your adjustment for that? How do you fix that? Right? How do you give the offensive lineman more time to get on their blocks? My adjustment for that is I would actually switch up my formations, right? So instead of us running all these plays out of gun and these zone plays out of gun, I would actually move Justin under center. Let's move this right here. I move Justin under center, and I would actually go with either a single back formation. And watch this. Put your running back deeper in the backfield. Put them 5 to 7 yards in the backfield, right? Put them 5 to 7 yards in the backfield, right? And give them time. Give these blocks up front time to develop, right? So now with this running back being deeper in the backfield, snap of the ball, you can run mesh. You can run stretch, you can run toss, you can run your what did I say? I said stretch, quick toss, any other play out of a power concept, out of a power formation, where you have an I, some sort of I formation, or you can bring your fullback in the game, and like we did on one play, you can bring your fullback in the game. I'm gonna actually show the formation and the play we actually ran. You bring your fullback in the game. You line your back further up in the backfield, and you give these blocks time to develop, right? And you play ball that way. And I felt like this was the adjustment we actually made during the game. We didn't do it as much as I would have liked us to do, but I felt like we made the adjustment in time enough, and we were able to get just enough momentum going during the second half to capitalize on some of these plays. So let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. We actually ran this play, and I'm gonna show you what happens when you put your running back further in the backfield and give the blocks time to develop, and you're gonna get better yardage, right? Because he gets the hole develops, then he can pick the right hole to go through. Here you go. Quick toss play, pin pull, and now you get time for guys to get up the field and get on bodies. I'll show you the opposite. See, it's quick hitting. Now the hole's not really developed. Actually, if you see, the hole actually developed. The hole actually developed on the backside. The hole actually developed on the backside. I'll show you the successful play. When you put them deep and you run the play, you give them time to find a hole versus this right here. That's what you want to do. This is what you don't want to do. Quick meshes. Watch the hole actually develop on the opposite side that he ran. It was right here back towards 54. Did y'all see that? The hole was actually in the backside. That's what I'm saying. So you put the player deeper in an I formation and you give it a little bit more time for the running play to develop. You can run a lot of stuff out of that. You can run zone still out of that formation. I with a fullback. You can run it stretch. You can run quick toss. There are a number of things that I feel like, you know what I'm saying, we could have did more of in the running game instead of trying to stick with that quick mesh in the rain, because mind you, that quick mesh requires a quick read, quick cut. You have to quickly diagnose the hole in that situation. I just didn't feel like David did as good a job as Khalil did in the game. But I felt like if you would have put David in a similar situation, he would have read, if you would have put him in the I formation, he would have gave him time to read the right hole and hit the right hole. Exactly, Steve. So that was my diagnosis. That was my why. That was my answer to my friend Peter Ross's question on Twitter. How do you reconcile? I reconcile it because the run plays we call a bunch of run plays that call for the quick mesh. I just didn't think it was the proper scheme for a rain game like that, quick meshes and stuff like that. I feel like when you have snow games and you have rain games, you play old school football. Student body left, student body right, stretch right, stretch left. Like back when I played, pee-wee football in the 80s, it was student body left, student body right, toss left, toss right, dive up the middle, right? Dive left, dive right, toss left, toss right. Those are the 4 plays we kind of ran when I was in grade school as far as running plays. You didn't have no zone read. You didn't have no counter plays where you had guards and tackles pulling. I probably didn't see that stuff until I was in high school. But in games like that, you play old school football. You mix it in with some motions, and you make it happen like that. So that's my explanation to why we didn't have as many rushing yards. I'm going to get into the comment section real fast, and then I'm going to get back with my next version. So let's hit
down in the DM. It go down in the DM.
Y'all know how it go down in the DM. Let me check out what y'all saying in the comment section. And we'll get back to whatever Coach talking about next here in a second. My boy Bear Truth 9, faithful follower, says Khalil can be patient and burst. Monty feel it more, but Monty gotta adjust with the calls and the line and eat. Yeah, but as an offensive coordinator, Bear Truth, you have to put guys in the best position to be successful. I don't think after coming out of that game that Khalil and Monty have the same skill set. But the good thing is you have a couple guys that have a different set of skill sets, so you can cover a lot of different schemes. Like I said, I think in that particular game, it may be going for. I think Monty may need under center plays, I formation, power concepts, and you can run the zone read stuff with Khalil. And then don't let me forget, I want to show y'all something and ask the viewers a question about those gun mesh plays versus power concepts in a second, just to get y'all thinking, right? Because I thought about this when I was on the road today. My boy CB Film said, "What up, Coach? What up, CB Film? You the guy, man." Steve-O said he read the wrong hole. Absolutely. But here's the thing. I don't blame him for reading that hole wrong. By the time you get to the mesh point where you're receiving the ball, you're already on the lineman's butt. So your path of vision, your peripherals is not quite the same. Your perspective is not the same. Now, mind you, if he's 3 yards back getting the ball, and as he's approaching the line of scrimmage, and the offensive lineman's, so the way they teach running backs is the offensive lineman's butt is going to tell you what direction to run. So if the offensive lineman's butt is pointing to the left, you know what I'm saying, you read their behind and you go pause where their behind tells you to go. So yeah, read the wrong hole, but I just don't think they should have had him in a better position, in better plays. That's just my take. Sophisticated Thought says, I think number one definitely can work on this play, fakes, and his mesh points. Just holding that player a split second longer. I felt like San Francisco was kind of they were really disciplined in the zone read game, and again, it was ineffective. But I think that's a good segue coming out of Sophisticated Thoughts comment here. So he said he thought number one, Justin could definitely work on his play fakes and his mesh points to hold the player a split second longer. I just thought San Francisco was just that good at zone read, and their mesh points were so close. It didn't matter, right? It didn't matter. I just thought it was just a wrong way to attack that defense, especially in the rain. But we were successful enough to win the game, so I'm not going to discount that. But this is the question I have for y'all coming out of the scheme, and it's a scheme question, right? And it's to cause y'all to think, right? So let's go to it, right? And I thought about this when I was driving today, right? So let's go back to this zone read, kind of standard zone read concept out of the ace left gun formation, right? So we're gonna bring Justin back in the gun, running back up here, and I think I got everybody right. I'll move the nickel over here, backer over there. 3 technique to where he should be, outside out here, safety playing down in the box, and we're going to do our gap fills. Everybody got a gap. Booyah. Okay, boom. Right? So my question to the audience is this. My question to the comment section is this. After you run zone read here, what's your counterplay? What's your answer? What's your answer to the zone read play? So say on the zone play you give, after you give, what's your next play? What's your play off of zone read to give? What's your play? What's your next play in your library? Remember, I'm always talking about library. You got to have a library of plays. What's your next play off of that? Your next play off of that should be the keep, right? So with zone read, you're reading this guy, this outside guy right here. So if this guy crashes down, if he keeps crashing down on the give, then Justin's supposed to keep the ball and go outside. And y'all saw him do that a few times during the game, right? You saw him do that. I'm going to get to you in a second, Steve-O. I'm sorry, Matt Helper. Thank you for the donation there. Well, I'm going to get to your question here in a second. Y'all work with me for a second. So after you give the ball here, that's the zone play. The read is when this guy crashes down, now you keep it. I saw Justin do that and get a first down during the game. So my question to the audience is, what's the play off of that? What's the next play in your library? Steve-O got it right. So he got the keep right. So zone give, zone keep, you keep and pay attention to the edge backer. So the question is, what's the next play off of that? You give, you keep, and what's next? What's the next play? After you gave and after you kept, what's next? So say they move this backer over here. They move this backer over here and they account for the give and the keep, right? They got this locked down. They're ready for Justin to run. They got everything locked down in the middle. What's next? Play action, right? Steve-O said play action. Hey, y'all give Y'all give. See, this is why I like doing this. This is why. This when it becomes fun. This is when it becomes fun. Y'all give Steve-O a shout out for his answer right there. Something play action, right? Yes. Play action. Nomad said, why dump? Yes, some kind of pass play. But the specific answer I'm looking for is, watch this. Run pass option. That's the proper application of RPO. Run pass option. So now that you've ran it, now that you've given it, and now that you kept it, and the defense started adjusting, right? They start adjusting to the give. They got you locked down in the give. They got you locked down in the keep. Now you want to start getting busy. Now you want to start getting busy back here. Right? Now you want to start getting busy back here. Playing arrow. Now you start messing with these guys. Boom. Boom. Right? Now you start running your run pass options. Your run pass options, that's the next build on play. That's how you develop your library. That's the why. So give, you're going to give it until they stop it. Right? Boom. You read the end. You read the end. If the end starts crashing, then you run a few keeps. They're going to walk a safety up to make sure you stay honest on those keeps. As soon as they walk that safety up, then you start getting busy out in the flats. You can run this what we call the Florida or flag pattern, where if they're in cover 3, you run this guy off, you run this corner off, and then you make this guy right here play one-on-one with the slot right here. So that corner's going to run off with his man because he has, deep thirds. And then you can play one-on-one with this guy right here. That's the why. That's what you're doing. So you set things up. You set things up. Now, here's my point. Here's the point I'm trying to make. The RPO or the zone read game has a few plays that you can do in it. You can do the give, you can do the keep, and then you start running pass plays after that. You can only go about 3 deep in your philosophy with that. When you go under center and you go with the power game, there's more available to you. This is my point. The point I'm trying to get to, right? There's more available to you once you go under center and you start playing around. You can run power, you can run dive, you can run toss, you can run stretch, you can run zone. You can start pulling guys back across the line of scrimmage and run counter tray, right? You can start pulling your guards and getting busy. It's more available to you, and that's why I'm pointing that out because, again, I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, going into the next week versus Green Bay, I really feel like Luke can get in his bag with this offensive line. There's one play I saw Cody Whitehair pull on that I was like, my God, man, Cody can actually move. Like Cody can actually pull and get out in space, and Tevin can too. And so can Lucas, right? We have guards that can actually run. So if we get our linemen pulling and getting up to the second and third level versus safeties, corners, and linebackers, we gonna eat, man. That's the point I'm trying to get to with that. That's why I asked that series of questions. So my takeaway from the game was we did a great job considering the conditions. It was great for the first game. I like the overall physical of the offense, the physicality of the offensive line. They played like dogs. I only saw one lost rep that I would count, and everybody knows me. I know I grade hard, right? I only saw one Braxton Jones lose 2 reps, I believe. Cody Whitehair lost 1 that I would count a loss, and Sam Mustipher had 1 lost reps that I would count a loss. In context, right? Understanding their assignment on a particular play and all that other stuff. So that's why I gave the grades I did. So I thought they played physical. I thought they were dominant. I thought they were well coached. It was the best that I've seen a Bears offensive line in about, 2022. It's probably the best I've seen a Bears offensive line in about 4 or 5 years. Just play like you expect offensive linemen to play. So with that, I'm excited about this team because what am I always saying about your offensive line? For your offensive line is your engine. Your offensive line is the cylinders for your vehicle. You got a blown cylinder, you can't move your offense down the field. I'm always talking about that V12 offensive line. This is more or less like a V6 offensive line, pushing up on the V8. They might be somewhere between the V6 and the V8 space. They're not quite a V12 yet, but we're going to get there, man. We're going to get there. I'll cut back to single screen, see what y'all talking about in the comments. Hang on one second. Let me switch this screen. Y'all know I'll be it be jacking me up. So while I'm reading the screen, do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me see what y'all talking about in these comments. Steve-O, he said Braxton definitely can pull. Yeah, Braxton got out there on that pin pull toss play that you saw earlier, man. Y'all see your boy Braxton. Watch all the guys. This was my favorite play from the entire game. Favorite play. Look at your boy Braxton out there running. Look at all the guys getting busy. Patrick down the field. My favorite play from the entire game. I feel like that's, you know what I'm saying? And then watch this. You get defensive linemen running and chasing like that. I'm telling you, haven't played that position, you hate that as a defensive lineman. I mean, you hate stretch plays. You hate toss plays. You get them defensive linemen running like that and you get them tired. Then you start running all that cute, pretty stuff, man. All that mesh, cute, pretty, zone read, all that garbage, man. Listen, that's when you run that madness, right? Ralph said, he said Bears coaches are watching you. I hope they are. Matter of fact, if you're watching, you a Bears coach or you on the scouting staff, give me a call, man. I don't like Chicago winners. But I'll do it for football. Me and my wife was talking about that at lunch today. We were talking about my next career move. But if you catch this, listen, I'm a football guy at the end of the day. I'm in corporate. I love corporate, but at the end of the day, my passion is football. So let me see what else y'all talking about in these comments for. We got about 15 minutes before we get out of here. Cornelius said, he's talking about the offensive line. He said, I think the coaches are rotating them so that Patrick doesn't resume his center spot without any game reps. Perfect explanation. One, he needs to get him some game time live reps because he didn't play that much in the preseason. Two, I think it keeps pressure on Tevin Jenkins to perform and buy in to what we're doing. I said this before, and I'll say it again. I just didn't think Tevin was all in there yet on playing right guard, but I feel like if this Bears team can get about some wins early, he's going to let go of, a thought process, a paradigm of playing right tackle or left tackle for now, playing tackle for now, and he's going to buy in because winning cures everything. So that's that. He never left before. According to him, he's always had 2 screens going. Oh, yeah. Mike talking to me. He talking about my screens, man. I'm trying to get those. I'm trying to get all this stuff going, man. I'm trying to work it out, bro. I'm doing all this on the whim today. I didn't know how I was going to put the playbook up, but I said it's weird for me, right? When I have the playbook up and I'm talking to you guys and I'm showing just the play and I'm not on screen, it just feels weird to me. Like, it feels like I'm talking to myself. I don't know if y'all ever had that experience before, but yeah. Plus, y'all know I love teaching, man, so it's all good. Thinking we're figuring everything out, sophisticated. Thinking they just figuring it. Yeah. This is the part, right, I don't want to gate, right? I don't want to be dismissive of. See, here's the thing, right? And Steve-O makes a great comment right here. He makes a great comment right here. For anybody that follows me, anybody that listens to my show on the playbacks, I just want y'all to keep this in perspective for me personally, right? I know there's a lot of Bears DIY media out there. There's the entertainment guys. There's the stat guys. There's a myriad of different formats out on Bears DIY media. What I like to do is keep myself sharp as a football coach while I pay attention to my football team at the same time. So what I do is I try to act as if I'm still coaching the game. And after the game, whether I'm coaching offensive line, whether I'm coaching receivers, running backs, or quarterbacks, right? I want to see that I'm staying in tune with the game and seeing the game and picking up on the nuances of the game. So I'm going back and watching film, and I'm saying, okay, yeah, I like that. I might steal a concept and add it to my playbook. But I like to get into the minds of the coaches, right? And then I like to relay that to my audience when you guys watch the game. So I'm thinking, and y'all best believe, no coach at any level is coming out of a win is like, oh, we've arrived, we made it, right? We don't have to get better. Y'all heard Coach Eberflus say that. He says we have to get better. We have a lot of young players. We have to get better, and absolutely we do. We have a young, fresh offensive coordinator. He has to get better. Even though we won the game, we haven't arrived. So Luke, these concepts I'm thinking of, I'm going through my own mind and explaining to me, well, how is it that the offensive linemen made their blocks and stayed on their blocks, but we only had how many yards we had rushing? The rushing game didn't seem like it was that fluid. Man, what would I change? What would I do? I would move away from meshing off a gun. In that particular situation, if it's raining and snowing, I would move out of a mesh, a zone read game or zone read concept out of gun, and I would go under center. I would go under center with more power concepts, and I'll run toss, zone, stretch, counters, whatever you can run out of the I or power I type formations in that situation. That's what I would have did. So it's all about adding to your library and learning. And just so you know, guys, that's the perspective that I come from when I do this. So I'm not trying to show up the coaches. I'm not trying to seem cool or smart. I'm trying to keep myself in tune with the game. So whenever I get that call, the game doesn't seem like it's far off. Matter of fact, I never said this actually on my show, but about 2 months ago, one of the local high school coaches quit, and I got the call and actually interviewed for I did a quick phone interview for a job at a local high school, and the coach quit probably a month before school started. You know what I'm saying? So they had to find somebody quick. They ended up hiring somebody within, which I believe was a smart decision anyway. But yeah, you never know when you're going to get that call. And what they say, you have to stay ready so you don't have to be ready. So this helps me, and I get to stay close to the game. Long answer to a short question, if there even was a question. Collins, bro, I'm with you. Moving forward, Jenkins will hold it down. I'm just figuring out what the coaches were thinking. That's all. That sounds like a great comment. I don't know what is coming off of it. I think I probably missed the context. So the right guard position is asked to do a lot of things. Like Getsy said, Jenkins has all the potential in the world, but has to gain knowledge and experience in certain things. Defensive line would do it. Yeah, absolutely. Particularly in this area, I think it's, just getting familiar with the lack of space. Spacing matters, right? So I just talked about the mesh point and the distance between the mesh point and the offensive line, but think about the spacing difference between right guard or tackle and guard. Like you said, things are happening right now at guard versus when you're at tackle. You get a couple kicks and before a defensive end or a linebacker gets to you on the outside, and you get to think about what move you're going to make, what counter moves you're going to make as an offensive tackle versus guard. You just got to be ready to put your hands on people and be violent quickly, amongst other things. So not to diminish that position and all they have to do, but that's kind of the nuance of it. Bear Truth 9, y'all let me miss Matt's question, and he actually sent in a payment or whatever they call that thing. Question, Coach, based off your answer, my question, would you say Monty is limited as a scheme fit, or just say coaches got to make minor adjustment to each running back we have? I would say the latter. And then I would also say this. You need to evaluate if that was just Monty being slow in a rain game, which I know that's stretching it a little bit, but you still need to do it, right? But what I would do And what you have to do, what you have to be careful of as a coach is not to give away tails. So you can't just put money in when you want to run power schemes, and put Khalil in when you want to run zone schemes. Good coaches is going to pick up that on film. So you have to run both of them anyway, right? But I'll say this too, because Khalil also put this on film, and I'm glad you brought that up because I would have skipped over this, for lack of a better word, this act of wetting the bed that Khalil did right here that I want to put on film. I'm glad you brought that up. Somebody explain this to me. Please, watch Khalil Herbert on this play. Let me go and see if I can start this again. Somebody watch Khalil Herbert on this play and explain this to me. What is he doing? Yeah. So and I thought I forecasted and I thought about that. I was like, man, Monty's gonna get a lot of hate, you know what I'm saying, because of his numbers. This is what the Bears have to deal with because you're gonna have Monty in there who's better at pass pro, and then you may have Khalil in there who's better at running the ball in a zone read scheme. You may have Monty in there. You might have both backs that's good at power schemes. You have one running back that's better at pass pro, and then you got another guy back there that's doing stuff like this. And I'm pissed if I'm a coach and I'm in the film room and I watch this. And I'm going to tell you why I'm pissed. Because if I'm going to take out the time and scheme up and draw up a play where I call for a 60 protection, 6-man protection, and you do that right there, he actually checked. So from my understanding right there, what I saw is Khalil Herbert had a check where he checked help. He checked help with all the offensive linemen, and then he's supposed to release. So it's a check delay. So he's supposed to check and scan left to right, and then release right into the flat as a safety, as a check down. If you're gonna check, right? If you're gonna be back there and I call 6-man protection, you better hit somebody. You better help somebody at some point. Especially in a play where we take the sack. We're taking the sack because somebody got beat. That means you're supposed to help somebody at some point. So, I know what happens, exactly what happens in these plays. You got running backs that all they're concerned with is getting the ball. They want to get yards. My primary job is to run the ball. My primary job is not to block. So, hey, offensive lineman, yeah, Braxton Jones, you got him. I'm just going to breeze past, really checking with you to make sure you got your guy, and then I'm going to just escape out and try to get my hands on the ball and get some yards. That to me as a coach, that would piss me off. You got to check a guy, especially when you're playing with a rookie 5th rounder. Matter of fact, I'm saying to myself going into that game, if I'm the running back, I'm going to keep my eyes on the rookie a half a second longer before I check with the other guys because I got to protect my quarterback. So I'm going to check with that rookie and make sure that rookie's really good before I move on to the other guys, before I escape into the backfield or escape out of the backfield and go to my check position and look for the ball on the check down. So, you know what I'm saying? If I really wanted to be, be hard, I could really have put this play on Khalil too. Like, you hit nobody. So I don't know. I don't know the purpose of why would a coach. I don't know the purpose of a coach scheming it for him to go from the left side looking to the right side, only escape back out the left side as a check down. That doesn't make sense to me. If you look left to check on the offensive lineman and you were supposed to scan the entire offensive line before you check down, the help is stay with that offensive tackle. Make sure he's good before you leave the backfield. I'm getting a little bit fired up on that one, man, because I feel like Braxton lost that rep, but I felt like Khalil could have helped him right there. So, yeah. So we beat that horse to death. That's what it's all doing. So again, overall, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like overall performance, top to bottom. First of all, you know what I'm saying? GM Ryan Poles, man, shout out to you, man. There's 15 rookies on this roster. You started a rookie left tackle from Southern Utah, who by all means had a great day. Yeah, he gave up a sack to Nick Bosa, but I don't know if y'all saw Nick Bosa at the end of that game. It looked like Nick Bosa had been beat by a semi-truck, like he got ran over by a semi-truck at the end of that game. And that's the sign of a guy that's had a tough day. So shout out to Ryan Poles, shout out to Matt Eberflus, because the game time operations was fluid. It was solid. We didn't have a bunch of dumb penalties. I think we had one penalty that was actually overturned and taken back on offense. And then we had one penalty on defense. So we played a very clean game in the rain. Very disciplined football, very smart football, meaning we're not going to beat ourselves. So shout out to Matt Eberflus for establishing a culture of hard work and discipline and guys doing their job and being on point and playing for each other, all that stuff, and getting the win. That's a phenomenal job. And then on Justin, the players, man, I just feel like they're going to get better because we have a good offensive line, and they're going to get better as the season goes. And I just think we're up for a surprise. So I picked us to win the first 4 games. So I picked the upset to happen this week in Green Bay, and I'm looking forward to what happens. And I look forward to how Luke Getsy builds upon what he's started, what he's starting to build, the foundation for this team. Because as an offensive play caller, what you do is you add a play every week to your playbook. You're supposed to add a dynamic to keep defenses off guard to your playbook every week. And as you go throughout the season, by the time we get to week 15 and 16, this offense is supposed to look, it should look totally advanced and totally complex and different from what it should be, evolving into something that's dynamic and really, it looks like it's super nuanced and complicated with more emotions and more shifts and all that stuff by week 14 and 15 that we won't even recognize. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he throws in and what I can steal throughout the season. Shout out to you guys for tapping in, man. I love doing this stuff, man. I'm going to try to come in on Wednesdays after the game and do a follow-up show and look forward into the next show. So I appreciate y'all joining me. Again, do me a favor, run the like, subscribe up. Hopefully we'll get this schedule down where I have more Swifty on. Our schedules just haven't been syncing up. But know that I love my guy Swifty, man. He's out there doing great work, man. Go out there and like and subscribe to his channel on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter as well. That's my guy Swifty. Like I said, our schedules haven't been syncing up quite well, but we're going to be on here together before y'all know it, man. Until then, do me a favor, man. You know what I'm saying? Do me a favor. Y'all know what to do in the comments. Go ahead and drop them FGBs in the comments. Y'all know what week it is. We not playing no games. We not messing with those dudes up north that wear them ugly colors, that live in that sorry city, that, you know, just like Green Bay, Wisconsin. Why? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was me, I would just, like, you know, quit life. I would move. Like, why? Why? So y'all know what week it is. FGB all day. You know what I'm saying? 49ers is over. Now it's on to, you know what I'm saying, that little trash dump up north in Wisconsin. Y'all know what week it is. We finna get it done again on Sunday night. Join me on Sundays for the game preview, keys to the game and all that stuff, and we're gonna get into it. My mouse just died on me, but we're gonna get into it. No, it didn't. And y'all know what it is. Until then, bear down. Thanks for joining me, and we out. Peace.